people were disappointed with the way WWE conducted the draft on Friday night. Night one of the draft happened on SmackDown. Not really much different as far as presentation is concerned. Not a lot of surprises. It was basically more of the same compared to years prior with the way that they've done the draft. One of the major complaints from people was, outside of Cody Rhodes being drafted away from Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes is on Raw, Roman Reigns stays on SmackDown. One of the major complaints was the lack of NXT presence on night one of the draft. This is what we usually are excited about. Who's going to get called up from their developmental system? It should have more of an impact on the draft. That's what you usually do in these drafts. You train these young kids, you train these young up-and-coming superstars, and then you put them in a draft and you call them up. But WWE really didn't do that on Friday night. We got a couple of bizarre ones, but not much NXT presence on Friday night. Isla Dawn and Alba Fire, the NXT Women's Tag Team Champions, called up. Don't know why. They just won those tag team championships. Haven't really done much with them. And now you got to figure out a way to get the titles off of them because you're calling them up to the main roster, as they will be new additions to the SmackDown women's division. Then on Monday Night Raw, Raw drafted Indy Hartwell, who just won the NXT Women's Championship at Stand and Deliver. She did nothing with the championship. So I don't even think she should have been called up, number one. Number two, if Indy Hartwell was being planned as a call-up, why didn't you take the title off of her basically this week when she defended the title and had every opportunity to drop it to somebody that was staying down there? She could have easily dropped it to Roxanne Perez or Tiffany Stratton if you knew she was going to get called up to the main roster on Friday to be placed on Monday Night Raw. Now WWE's got to go and creatively book themselves to get these championships off of these women, and it doesn't make any sense. Doesn't really make any sense. People were disappointed with those being the only moves from NXT. Now, we have news coming out of the SmackDown Lowdown that WWE announced additional draft picks following Friday's night one of the WWE Draft, where SmackDown and Raw had 8 picks each. This is how the draft ended up at the end of SmackDown. Raw got Cody Rhodes, Becky Lynch, Imperium, all of Imperium, Gunther, Kaiser, and Vinci. Matt Riddle is staying on Raw. McIntyre is staying on Raw. The Miz, Nakamura, and Indy Hartwell. Those were the 8 picks for Monday Night Raw during night one of the draft. SmackDown is keeping Roman Reigns, Solo Sikoa, Paul Heyman, Bianca Belair, the Street Profits as a package deal, both Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford. Edge is moving over to SmackDown. I like that move a lot. Bobby Lashley is moving over to SmackDown. I like that move a lot, as both Edge and Bobby Lashley could be opponents for Roman Reigns and the World Heavyweight Championship if they want to line up opponents for Roman. The OC, a package deal, all of them. Styles, who could be another challenger for Roman Reigns. Michin, Mia Yim, Carl Anderson, and Luke Gallows adds depth to that tag team division. Michin adds depth to the women's division. Damage Control, Io Sky, Bayley, and Dakota Kai as a package deal end up over there. And the NXT Women's Tag Team Champions, like I said, in Alba Fire and Isla Dawn. Now we find out that more moves have been made and big NXT presence coming out of this afternoon's draft on the SmackDown Lowdown. Maximum Male Models stay on Raw. That's Massey, Mansois, and Maxine Dupree. Package deal stays on Raw. Dexter Lumis is staying on Raw, so they'll probably visit the Indy Hartwell-Dexter Lumis pairing. Maybe we'll get some sort of Way reunion on Monday Night Raw with Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae, as Candice LeRae is also staying on Monday Night Raw. Hit Row, Top Dollar, Bottom Dollar is staying on SmackDown with Ashante Adonis and B-Fab. Lacey Evans is staying on SmackDown. They should have drafted her to unemployment. Natalya is staying on Raw, or moving over to Raw, I should say, from SmackDown. Not really a big move there. Apollo Crews is moving back to the main roster from NXT. Him and his fucking little silly journal that he continues to write in. He's going to Monday Night Raw. He could be a nice presence for the Intercontinental Championship over there. That's a surprising move. Chelsea Green is staying on Raw. Sonya Deville is going to Raw. Zoe Stark is getting called up to the main roster. That's a good move. She deserves it, and she's going to do very well over there. And J.D. McDonough is getting called up to the main roster. He's being put on Monday Night Raw. And I said this for weeks, man. Judgment Day's already been teasing a possible new member. No better than J.D. McDonough. Why? Finn Balor trained J.D. McDonough. Finn Balor's the leader of Judgment Day. Why wouldn't he want one of his students in Judgment Day? And McDonough's gimmick fits perfect with the Judgment Day. Additionally, Judgment Day and the LWO will continue their feud going on into 2023. Right now, the way I seen it is maybe we're getting a possible War Games out of this, but we got 4 on the LWO side, and we only had 3 on the Judgment Day side, minus Rhea Ripley. Now with J.D. McDonough possibly being added to the Judgment Day, if that is the plan, that gives them an even playing field. We could be looking at the War Games match at Survivor Series with Judgment Day and Legado del Fantasma LWO. I think that's great. I'm actually excited about that move. J.D. McDonough is fucking great. So he's going to add a lot to that Monday Night Raw show on Monday. So Mustafa Ali, who was also in the pool to be drafted on Friday, he is going to be a free agent along with Dolph Ziggler, and Von Wagner is drafted to the main roster, placed in a free agent pool. I'm surprised by this move, big time, because I didn't think Von Wagner was good enough to be called up yet. He's got the makings of something, but they didn't really tap into any of that on NXT. He struggled to get over. He's lacking charisma. He's lacking mic skills. He's got the in-ring work, but he couldn't get himself over on NXT. How the fuck is that going to work for him on the main roster? People thought he was boring on Tuesday nights. You think this is going to translate well to the main roster on Monday night or Friday night? I don't know if that's going to work out, man. I think that's a hasty move right there. I think they really called him up too quick. He should have remained down there. Cameron Grimes should have been called up. Braun Breaker still is yet to be drafted. Grayson Waller. Ton of guys down there that are better suited than a Von Wagner to be called up. Is Von Wagner going to be with Robert Stone? Because the way his promo ability is, he's certainly going to need a mouthpiece. And Robert Stone was a very good mouthpiece for Von Wagner. A lot of questions about that one, man. I don't really understand that move. And Omos is also in a free agent situation. In storyline, MVP noted that he negotiated for Omos to be a free agent, so I guess he could be drafted to either Raw or SmackDown whenever that time comes. But that is the supplemental draft coming out of the SmackDown Lowdown on Peacock this afternoon. Let me know what you guys think about that one down below. Are you happy with these moves? Are you happy that NXT had a little bit more of a presence in the supplemental draft here on Saturday afternoon? Are you happy about these moves? And if not, who would you rather have seen called up? I don't know, man. I'm very, very confused about some of these NXT moves. I think they are making the wrong choices as it pertains to the NXT call-ups, but we'll find out on Monday, man. Maybe they're saving the big hitters for Monday. Maybe they're saving Grayson Waller, Cameron Grimes, and Braun Breaker, and guys like that. Roxanne Perez, potentially. Tiffany Stratton. Cora Jade is another one. Joe Gacy was another rumored one. Tyler Bates. Ilya Dragunov. Maybe they're saving all these big, heavy hitters for the 3-hour show on Monday night. But let me know what you guys think about all these moves down below in the comment section. Follow me on social media at JD from NY206. That's Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Cameo. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for all notifications. Thumbs up. I would appreciate 1,000 likes on today's OTS. And I'll be back with more news this weekend right here on Off the Script.